Hello everybody, I hope you are having a great day today. I am going to do a bit of a planner flip through for my different cross stitch planners that I have. There's a bit of hustle and bustle going on around. As you can hear, my neighbor has decided today is the day to do some outside work.
Yeah, and husband's going to work. Love you, Annie.
Bye. So anyway, I thought I'd do a quick flip through of some of the things that I have that I do my cross stitch planning in. There is no hard and fast rules to planning what you want to plan in your for your cross stitch journey, but I thought I'd show you kind of some of the things that I have. So I'm actually going to move these out of the way. Some of these are my main planner items. I am doing this with a crazy overhead shot going right now, so I'm going to try my best to keep this in frame for you. This is actually I believe a Bible cover or a book cover that I purchased at our local Home Goods. And what this holds is my current whip cards. These whip cards are actually available in my Etsy shop, and they have the details of my projects. These are caught up through February. As you can see, I mark when I have completed stitches on them, and then I have the details on the back, and I can add pictures as I go with my little small printer. So these just stay loosely in here. This zips up nicely. The second thing that I have is this is actually a classic Happy Planner Notes. It has the smaller discs, and this has a really cute little cover on it. And what I keep in here are my extra planner pages. So these are some additional, you'll see this page being used in my normal planner. I've got some of my items from January and February in here. And then extra dot grid paper. And so I found that my planner was quite full with the whole year in there. So as I had finished tracking my items for January and February, I pulled them to here. So that is an extra little piece that I have. This is a Leuchtturm. I will link it below. It's a bullet journal of sorts. This was one that I got that is in a metallic finish, and I've just had it sitting in my craft room unused. My daughter Joyful, little one, made me a label that says Stitching Journal. And in here, initially I've got some images, some of my older items. I do apologize if the background noise is bothersome. I will try to get that out. I keep in here just notes. So I've got a wish list page. I actually have several pages allotted for that. Kitted projects. I just this week started filling this out more. I had things on pieces of paper in a folder in another journal that was getting full. So I decided to put them all in one place. So I will have all of my kitted projects. It would be ongoing, so I have left several pages. The one thing I love about this style of notebook is one, it's dot grid, which is my preference. Dot or graph paper are my two choices. It also is numbered, and at the front you have a table of contents where you can list what is on each page. So I have several pages for my kitted projects. Then we come into, I've got some of my information for StitchCon. This is just basic information for me. I did put in my Nashville pre-orders, some of the Stitch from Stash Finish credits. Here's some conversions. This is some additional floss information for the Plum Street salt boxes that I want to begin kitting up. I placed a color and cotton order or two, and I've written down if I had those charted, set aside for anything specific. And then these are some of my new market charts, and I have gone ahead and put in the flosses. I've also written down sizes on the new Nashville releases that I plan on kitting at some point, so that I can just real quickly go and do some cross stitch calculations. I have 2 pages of those. And then as you can see, I have a lot more room to work with. This has 2, make sure you see, 2 different bookmarks, ribbon bookmarks. You can put them where you would like to put them. As you can see right here, it is a Leuchtturm. And then it has actually a little paper pocket in the back that's rather large and gusseted. It has the elastic. I just used a binder clip to clip these pages loosely in. And then you can see it has my name and my stitching journal. So that is one that I keep that has different information in it. So these are just my kind of auxiliary planning things. Then we get into, this is my large main planner. Now, I personally have been using this year a classic sized happy planner. I purchased my planner base from my local Michael's store. I know that Michael's carries some supplies. Joann's does as well. There also is a Happy Planner website. I purchased the binder that I use that holds my Happy Planner off of the Happy Planner website. They had a huge sale and this was $4.99. Last I looked, they did still have some of these and I think they are now maybe $8.99 or $9.99. I like that it keeps everything in one protected. It has a snap closure. This is the white. It's kind of like a leatherette. And then on the inside, it has gold. It has a slip pocket in the front. I'm making sure I can see everything. And a couple of other pockets if you want to put a notepad. You can't, if your planner is bulky like mine is, you don't have as much room to be able to have bulk on this side. I have noticed that. So my planner, I'm going to move this a little bit. It also has a pen loop, so I have a pen back here. It's just a ballpoint pen that I purchased actually it was from my planner days. My cover says 2020 will be great, amazing, wonderful, awesome, colorful, magical, and happy. And it does have the colorful discs, which I love. When I went to my Michael's not too long after I started to set this up, they had a couple of their happy notes, which is the classic size, but it is note papers. And I bought 2 of them on clearance. And so that's how I got my blank papers. It also allowed me to have a couple of cover options. It also allowed me extra dividers, and that was what I needed. And so this is just a blank divider. And I have some of my yearly and my more readily accessible things in the front. And so the first page that we come to, this is my did I stitch this day tracker kind of a situation. And so what I do is I highlight if I put any stitches into any projects on that given day. And as you can see up through yesterday, March 20th, I have stitched every day of 2020, which is one of my goals this year, is to put a stitch in something every single day this year. This printable is actually from a planner company that specializes in printables. They have many options actually that are already sized to the classic Happy Planner. It's called Annie Plans Printables, and I have been using theirs for years for my personal paper planning, and I will link them in the description box below. I will also put in a coupon code. It is not my coupon code, it is someone else's, but it will get you, I believe, 25% off your purchase. So this is from there. This next page is actually from the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch planner that is by Jen Lee of Quirks and Stitches. I will link to her Etsy shop that has this. She has many different pages that are for the year, for the month. It's all of the acrostics for the year. And so I have those dispersed throughout, but she also does have a great whip list. She also has whip cards. I am choosing to operate off of a whip list, and I have multiple copies in here. You can see that I've crossed some out. I've highlighted them as I finish them, and so that's just a nice setup there. She also has a finishes page. So these are my partial or complete finishes so far this year. And I have 2 of those. As you can see, as your planner gets a little full, the lighter pages, which I have some like 20-pound paper that I've printed things on, don't turn as easily. So I would definitely recommend getting a slightly heavier bond paper, either 24 or 28. If you're going to be doing something that's a little heftier, I would do a 32. I am going to be reprinting my whip list on like a 32-pound paper, so it makes it easier. Here's another divider. This has my whip go board. As you can see, it has changed a bit as I have decided to eliminate projects. I have spun to put new projects in, and I've got some things marked if they've already been called or if I've finished them but not finished completely. So this is kind of working for me right now. This is actually a printable that's for expenses. I'm not going to show you a page with writing, but this is also another Annie's Plans printable. And this has a date, purchases, an amount, and I'm using this for my monthly stitch from Stash. I believe this is set up so that you have a page for each of the for each month of the year. Moving on, we have another blank divider. I like this one that says, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted, Aesop. This is where kind of the guts, so to speak, of the official planner start. So this is like the opening page of the 2020 planner that I got. It has a year on 2 pages that came with. And then this is one of my favorites. And I'm going to see if I can kind of get, it's going to be a little tricky to get it all in there. So we're going to do our best. But this is a great page that I really enjoy. This is, I guess, for like a perpetual calendar of sorts. But what I have in here is I have all of my whips written down on the date that they were started. And I actually did put in, if it was a 2019, like right here is Quilting Bee, and it was a 2019 start, I put 2019. For the most part, they are 2020. As you can see, December was kind of crazy because that was start all the things. So I actually have some of my December birthdays back here. This is a page that I got out of Semi-Sane Stitchers. They had a few printable pages. This is a 2020 daily stitching tally. And so I have been tracking what I stitch each day. I usually fill this in at the end of a week. I'll show you how I track my daily stitching, but I usually fill in these numbers at the end of the week and try to keep up with it. And then at the top are my totals. Then we go into one more divider. This is another page from the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch planner. This is a monthly focus tracker. So these are my focuses I will decide on each month. And then behind that is the yearly ABC challenge. I do not post in the 24-hour group. I just keep them for myself. I post as minimally as possible because Facebook tends to want to lock me down. They think that I'm being spammy to myself. So then we get into some more of the guts of the Happy Planner. So this is the month on 2 pages that comes with. The things that I track on my month and 2 pages is in my sidebar, I listed my Stitch 10 in 2020 list. I listed my Whip Go pieces. I listed my monthly pieces that were a focus and my stats. That is in my sidebar. And then I put any starts or finishes in the monthly section. So if I finish something, I do highlight it so it stands out to me. Now you will notice for January, there is not much past this. That's because I've pulled those pages out. The same goes for February. Again, I did the same thing on my sidebar. There's nothing behind February. Now March, same sidebar, same kind of things in here. I have not been great about updating my March. I have a couple of finishes I need to put in here and a couple of starts. But the other thing that I added this time, and I just taped this in, is since I was not going to be doing enchanted stitching challenges this month, and I was going to need a little bit more direction as to when I was going to work on what, I actually created a calendar in Numbers, which is kind of like Excel, but it is a Mac-based, an iOS or an OS application. And so I have put in my March calendar. I printed it small and it is just folded in the front. And as I work through things, I am highlighting them on here. I will tell you my favorite highlighters. Again, these are leftovers from my planning day, so I love that they come in handy. These are by Zebra, and these are mild liners. And the things that I like about them is they come in lots of fun colors. You can usually get them at Amazon or on Amazon. I've seen them at Target before. I purchased mine on Amazon. They have a chisel tip on one side, and they have a bullet tip on the other. So I use the bullet tip actually when I'm doing my whip cards. So I have these in lots of colors. I have them, you know, in lots of different places. I have them at work. I have them here at home in several places. And so I really like these. One of my other favorite pens, and I don't think I brought it in here, is I love Papermate Flare pens. The problem with Papermate Flares is they tend to smear. So if I am planning on highlighting over it, I do not write in those. Same with my gel pens. I do like a Pilot G2 gel pen, but those tend to smear as well. So I usually try to use one of my nice ballpoint pens or pencil if I'm going to plan on highlighting. So anyway, I actually just literally took pieces of Scotch tape and taped this in the gaps so that once I transfer this, I can just flip it up, still access this side of the calendar. So yeah, I'm trying not to bump my crazy tripod setup here and knock my phone off. I will be investing in some kind of an overhead filming situation. So as you can see, now we flipped into the March pages. And so this is a horizontal orientation. So each day has a box, a horizontal box, and then at the end of the week, because you obviously have 4 on each page, this is almost like a bullet checklist. Some weeks in January and February would write the things that I for sure wanted to accomplish during that time. But for the most part, I write what I've worked on each day, or I sometimes will plan things out. I do my stitch totals here, and then I move those along to my larger tracking at the front. So then we go into the end of the month. We have my 24 hours of cross stitch March items. There's a March recap page, so it's a great place to keep your finishes and things of that nature. Then we go into, I use just dot gridded paper. I don't want to show you these, but I have these at the back, and this is where I track my prompts. It's where I track what I plan on using for those prompts, and then I highlight them as I go. Another thing that I like to keep track of is I like to make note of what I worked on and how many days. So as the weeks go on, I have not updated this for a while. I will go back through my dailies and check each item as I note a day that it has been worked on. And this just is good for me because I can go back and see, okay, I have not worked on this project for a really long time. Is it something that's still bringing me joy? Do I want to continue on, or would I like to pass that on to someone else? So in flipping through my journal, I do have some things noted in the months to come, but for the most part, these months are kind of blank. I have found that if I try to plan too far in advance, I'm not successful with that. So this calendar goes all the way through December 2020. In the back, I have a section. I do have, this is my wish list page. That does not need to be in here. Plus, I love that. You can easily pull a page out and put a page in. It's similar to like a binder, but it's a disc system. And then I have some extra blank dot grids back here. You can see the back cover slips under this, and that's what holds it in. And then I have my nice pretty pen back here. This is called a Pen Gems. That's a brand of pen that has the jewels, the Swarovski crystals inside. Again, you know, hashtag I was a planner gal. I will say I would encourage, if you are going to move to a Happy Planner system, to purchase a punch. I have the big punch. It is the hot pink punch. It will allow you to punch the pages for both the classic and the big planner, which is the 8x11 planner. I purchased that because at one time I was using the larger planner. I bought it at Michael's and I used a coupon for it, and so you could definitely get that. I think that's really all I have to share with you about my planners today. So I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and watch. If this is not your cup of tea, I totally get it. Feel free to be like, I'm out. But I thought it would be fun to do a little planner walkthrough for those of you that know I use one and wanted to see what I do. So with that, I'm going to bid you farewell and see you soon. Bye.